Hey everyone, it's Andrew Nagel of Alkanine Designs, and I'm back with part 5 of the Start to Finish Hybrid 3.0 series. This is where we are going to build and add the bale. This is a pretty simple bale. The only things you're going to need is a thicker section of tube setting. I'm using some 4.4 millimeter, I think it is. Basically, it has a 4 millimeter hole and then a 0.4 millimeter wide metal tubing. And so this is great for gemstone settings, but I also like to just cut off an angled section as I just did for my bales. I also just like to use a section of rectangular wire. This is 2 by 1 millimeter rectangular wire. I'm just going to shape it into a U pattern. After you've shaped it into the U, then you're going to just cut off the extra tips that you don't need. I like to leave about 2 centimeters worth of length from the tube to the curve of that rectangular wire. And I'm also going to be using another section of tube soldered all together. As you see here, I used a 3.6 millimeter tube, so that way I can set a 3 millimeter gemstone inside of this tube. I just fused the larger tube and the U rectangular wire together with my normal soldering technique, and then I also fused that smaller tube to the top of that, so that way I can set a gemstone into the top of this bale. Right now I'm just filing down the sides to kind of shape that angle a little bit more. I'm using the number 2 files. Right now I'm using that half-domed file. That half-dome just gives me a better place to stick my fingers when I'm filing, and so I prefer to use that over the complete flat-edged one. It just kind of has a more ergonomic shape to it, I'll say. As I'm filing these down, I just want to shape this so that way the bale has a bit more of a dimension to it. I leave the top part wider so that way there's more metal for the chain to hang off of. This is a great way to add a bale to any of your hybrid pieces. I'm just filing off those ends of the rectangular wire so that way this smooths down and fuses into the tube kind of seamlessly. Removing that shelf and just removing any marks. This will then sit in the pickle pot after I've attached this to the body of this piece. Now that the whole thing is shaped and fused together, we're ready to slide this onto our piece, and so I'm going to slide this on to the top hook. The hook is made out of the the half round wire, and then also this 21 gauge square wire that we've added onto the top part of this curve. I'm going to get that settled onto the middle portion of that curve and make any last adjustments that I need to. I'm going to make sure all of my ends are tucked in and attached to the back, because after this point I'm going to be fusing those half round wires to the frame of this piece so they're all connected together and held in place. And then after those are fused together, we can cut off our extra 21 gauge square and curl that into the loop. Now that I have the bale on my half round wire curl at the top, and I've also attached the end points of the half round wire to the frame of the piece. So I've soldered those to the back so they're not going to go anywhere. After I've soldered that to the back and my bale is not going to fall off of this, I'm going to then take that extra length of 21 gauge square and curve that end into this loop and wrap it around the bottom end of the loop. As you're doing this, your 21 gauge curl at the top might kind of distort, so if you need to make any minor adjustments before tying that down, definitely make those adjustments while you have a little bit of give with your metal, because once you tie down that extra point at the end, it's going to basically solidify your top curve there, and you won't really be able to manipulate it much more. So you're going to want that curved where you want it to be before you attach this down to your half round wire. I'm just using my flat needle nose pliers to help curve that into itself. And now that that swirl is attached to our larger swirl, we are ready to go. The bail is attached and it's not going to go anywhere. Again, I soldered the back ends of those half round wires to the frame so that way they're connected and they're not going to go anywhere. That makes this truly a fabricated piece because the wires aren't going to shift and there's no loose ends. You know, everything is soldered and attached together. I hope you all enjoyed this section of this tutorial. I've shown you how to make this bail a couple of times, but here's another look at it. Again, it's just a larger section of tube, some rectangular wire, and a smaller section of tube to fit whatever gemstone you want to set into the bail. I hope you enjoyed this. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I hope you have a great rest of your week.